Joe Schmo. Joe Schmo. The Joe Schmo. Joe Schmo.
Welcome into another episode of the Joe Schmo Sports Show. Actually, a very special episode of the Joe Schmo Sports Show. With me, as always, you got me, your host, Clint Webb. Then you got your co-host, Mr. Dominic Battistella.
What's going on, Clint?
And the man over there on the mixing boards, Mr. Andre Cameron. How you doing, Dre?
What's up, bud?
Hey, man. All right, now today we got with us the commish, Merrill Holloway.
Hello, hello.
And Mr. Ryan Collins. I don't really have a nickname for him.
Yeah, man, I was just going to say, I can't
We'll
get
figure
anything
it
or
out.
nothing.
We'll figure it out.
I've heard rumor that Ryan is a Patriots fan.
Oh.
And he's got that amazing beard.
It's
Maybe
no
we just
rumor.
call him Matt.
Oh.
What is that? Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And
Okay.
today, what we're doing, we're having these guys in to do a fantasy episode.
What we're doing is we're doing our Joe Schmo
Our-
Sports Show
our
fantasy
Joe
football
Schmo
preview.
Spectacular, if you will.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
We're going to cover everything you need to know
Everything
about
you need to
fantasy
know.
football over the next hour to 2 hours, depending on how
Yeah.
long it takes us.
Yeah.
But if you're going to play fantasy football this year, you don't really need to listen to any other podcast.
Nah, this is
Just
where you
listen
need
to
to be.
this one.
We got the experts in the house today.
Everything else is just like a bunch of jackasses telling jokes. You want to listen to these four jackasses tell
Yeah.
jokes. You only have to listen to one episode, and then you can get on with your life. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to listen to the whole, pre-season of episodes.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, just
That's
listen
like-
to-
we
just listen
got
to
it
one.
all. We listen to all
Yeah.
the podcasts, so you don't have to.
Right,
It's a
exactly.
one-stop shop.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a one-stop shop.
So
Yeah.
where we starting there, Clint?
Okay, so first of all, we need to mention the Schmo draft with the Schmo League that we're going to be
Oh
having.
yeah. So the Joe Schmo Sports Show Fantasy
Yep.
Football League.
Yep, it's going to be a 12-team league.
It's going to be a 12-team league.
It's going to be pros versus Joes.
Pros versus Schmos.
Well,
the reality, exactly.
Okay, well, pro versus Schmos.
6 amateurs, 6 professional
That's right.
athletes.
Professional athletes or
That's
ex-professional athletes,
Yes.
but we still call them professional
Yeah,
athletes
yeah.
because they deserve it.
Yeah.
So we're going to be taking 1, maybe 2 listener spots for the league.
I think.
Or we're just going to be doing 1.
I think we got somewhere around 3.
We got
maybe.
3
I don't
listener
know.
spots.
We'll figure that out.
Okay, so the way to get on the list for that is to hit us up on all social media. So you got J Schmo Sports on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, or you can just leave us a comment on YouTube, Joe Schmo Sports Show on YouTube.
But if you want to qualify for a spot, this is what you really need to do. You need to go to Apple Podcasts, Google,
Yes, you do.
Spotify. You need to leave
Preach.
us a review, subscribe, rate it.
5 stars.
5 stars only.
Yep.
Yeah.
4
exactly.
stars, you don't get in the league.
Yeah, exactly. 5 stars only to get into the league. You got to leave a review and a rating.
Yeah.
Period.
Period. It's really simple.
Yep.
So we will be reviewing those. And so if you do want and you still want to interact with us on the social medias, just hit us up, J Schmo Sports, on all your major social media platforms.
Excellent.
All right.
Now
Does
that
pretty
that's
much
out of
cover
the
that?
way, where are
All
we
right.
going?
All right, so you wanted to start it off with tiers. We talked about this yesterday. This was
Okay, first and foremost, if you guys don't understand, this is your first time
playing fantasy football.
playing fantasy football,
Welcome.
then what are you
Congratulations.
doing here listening to us? Secondly, tiers is just, okay, these 4 players are in the same level, then
Yep.
these next 4 players are in the same level, et cetera,
Yep.
based upon position. Got it?
Yep.
Got it. Good. We're going to start with quarterbacks because that's the marquee position in real football. Fantasy football, maybe not as important, but let's go ahead and start with those. So we split these up into 3 tiers of 4.
4 players,
just to make it
correct, for
easy.
quarterbacks.
4 quarterbacks. This is going to give you your 12 starters and who they're comparable to. So in your top tier, Clint, who you got?
So my top tier includes Mr. Kyler Murray, who was, depending on what league you were in, is QB1
Okay.
to QB3. So these are in no particular order.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So Patrick Mahomes, Aaron
Okay.
Rodgers, Josh Allen. I think it's pretty clear cut. It's pretty easy. I don't know. Anybody have anything different
Say that again.
other than me?
You said Murray,
Kyler Murray, my
Okay.
homies,
Mahomey,
Aaron Rodgers,
Rodgers, okay,
Josh Allen.
and Allen. Okay.
So I had a
pretty similar breakdown. I had my top
You
five.
got Tommy.
Well, everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. So my top five, and I actually broke this down in terms of points that they had per game last season. So for
So
my
you went
Yeah.
previous years.
Previous.
Performance.
not completely though, because I
Okay.
got Dak on here as well. Okay, so I've got number one, Brady. Surprise. Josh Allen. I got at number two. I've got Kyler Murray at 3. I've got Herbert. I think is going to have a big year this year.
Herbert's
I would
got-
You
get
got him at 4.
I got him at 4, and I
Okay.
got Prescott at 5. I
Okay.
think Prescott's going to be really good with a lot of the new tools and weapons that they got on that offense.
Well, what you mean with his new ankle and his stuff like that? Does that include? Does that count for additions to the team?
I guess it depends on how you want to look at it. If you go by the points break, number 1 on my list for points last year is actually Josh Allen.
It's Josh Allen.
Yeah.
47.9.
Because of that last game, he overtook Kyler Murray over that because of that last game.
I think Josh Allen is a really good quarterback,
Yeah, sure.
period, but I think he's one of those dudes that is just a fantasy stud.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because he runs the ball, he passes the ball, he even catches
does
the ball
all
from
he
top
does
to top.
all of the things.
Yeah, we've seen him even catch the ball. So Merrill, just real quick before you answer this question and tell us your tiers here.
Well, it's just
Why should
we're
we
just
listen?
getting the top
Why
tier.
should we listen to you? What have you like? How long have you been doing this?
Been a minute, man. I'm an old man.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but there's a lot of gray hairs in this beard that's coming out of my face.
I think that's the giant shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Man. 20 years, man. 20 years of doing this. Maybe a little bit more. 21, actually. 21 playing fantasy
21
football.
years
We're
playing.
doing
Yeah.
dot matrix printers and shit.
Man,
like that.
pretty close, pretty close. The first
the
time that I jumped in the
mimeographic
league, I was using a
machine.
dot matrix printer on a regular basis. So,
Yeah. That's like the most Gen X thing I've ever heard.
yeah. Yeah.
Matrix printer.
It's been a minute. Been a
Amari
minute.
Cooper in the third
A
round.
lot of years, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say he's been doing it long enough to tell us not to draft Daniel Jones.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
And we'll get into that because
Yeah.
he has
Yeah.
a very big hatred for.
He's
Sounds
a-
like most of his
pickup.
New York Giant football
Well,
team.
that's
Yeah.
because the balls, but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story. So, Merrill,
Just-
tell us about your top 4.
Tier
What are
one.
your
Yeah,
top 4
so
for?
I looked at this a little bit differently. I believe that Pat Mahomes is in a tier by himself. I think I was starting to think
So that's
about this.
tier
Who's the set it and forget it guy
Yeah.
that I would never worry about changing, regardless of matchup, health, and all that thing. So Mahomes for me is tier 1 by himself. But if we've got to add some people to accompany him, I'd go Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson because they'll be having a lot of touchdowns in the air and on the ground.
True story.
And then Tom Brady's going to have a killer year, unfortunately.
So you went with old man Brady as in your tier 1. So
Yeah.
you're not having Josh Allen,
No,
Aaron Rodgers
no.
in your top tier at all.
No,
MVP Aaron
I'm
Rodgers.
concerned with Rodgers about his contract situation.
Well, he's-
there could be
he's
some.
signing.
he just locked that. He's
Yeah.
locking that in.
Doesn't mean
it
he's
came
happy.
out today.
Doesn't
Right.
mean he's happy.
He
Doesn't
hasn't
mean
been
he's
happy in
That's true.
15
Yeah.
years. You know.
He gets
Yeah.
injured a lot too, and this is another dude that's not happy.
Exactly.
And this is a weird dude we're talking about with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Don't be surprised if he signs up this year and then has a hamstring or cough, his ankle hurts or something.
COVID.
Anything
Really?
can happen with this guy.
Really?
He's
Historically,
I
Aaron
wouldn't trust
Rodgers
him.
has been an injury-prone or a sickly quarterback. I haven't. The only time I remember him really being out for any extended period of time is when he broke his collarbone,
Yeah,
and
that
then he
was
came
bad.
back and dominated.
That was
so
bad.
I
Right.
wouldn't say that Aaron Rodgers is. If
He's-
he's on the
he's got these
field, he is a
ticky-tacky
He was a
starter.
little inconsistent. So
Yeah.
There were games that he didn't miss, but he didn't play well in several. So it seems like Chicago has his number,
yeah,
Minnesota
well,
has his number. So
last-
when he plays Minnesota and we play Chicago, and you need him on Sunday night to do something for you, don't be surprised if he
You're right.
gives you like an 11-point
You're
game.
right.
Well,
You ain't
I
wrong.
they
would-
run
I
the
would
ball.
say, if you look
I've
at his
been there.
performance from 2020, though, he had one game where he was under 100 QB.
Yeah.
Oh, he was unbelievable last
Yeah.
year.
He was
So-
48.
He was motivated by the disrespect piece. And,
Well, I mean,
so
if you don't think he's been disrespected this season,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're
He
good to
might.
go on that.
we'll see.
Say all the-
Well, and Allen is a little tricky too. Just for before we started recording,
You know
there
you're
could be
talking
some.
to a homer here.
There could be some games that he misses, or who knows with our health situations. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll talk
Oh,
about that too.
well, I will say that I had, and this is not surprising. Josh Allen is my number 1 overall.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And he's going to be a solid 20 points above everybody by the end of the season.
Yep.
Kyler Murray second, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Patrick Mahomes in real football
Yeah.
is in a tier of his own.
Yeah.
In fantasy football, he's in the top tier, but
Last year he was.
he's not at the top.
Last
He's
year
not.
he was.
He just
the
isn't.
year
And-
before that he was.
And
on
Josh
a
Allen.
Last year he took
level.
a step back.
Yep.
Sure. And
New offensive line, motivation from losing that Super Bowl.
Oh,
I just feel like he's gonna throw for 50 touchdowns.
I hope so.
I see it.
I mean,
I see
maybe.
it. I
Yeah.
feel it.
But
Yeah.
he's got competition in that top tier
Sure.
of,
Yeah.
Absolutely he
of
does.
quarterbacks, period. I don't have sorry
Kyler
to
Murray.
you guys, I don't have Tom Brady in the top
Yeah.
tier.
Oh,
But
you don't think he's gonna be unbelievable this year?
He's a starter in a
Mm-hmm.
12-team league, but I don't have him in my top tier.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
only that, I don't have him in my second tier.
Yeah.
I got him in my third tier.
Third tier? Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I
Okay.
got him as a third tier.
I got him in
quarterback.
my
Okay.
second tier.
So
So.
there's a couple of things. One, he doesn't run.
No.
Period. End of story.
You don't need to.
And-
They're
Didn't
40.
need weapons.
Well,
Right, exactly.
Look, he's every year he gets just a touch older. Every year he
I think he
loses
gets
a
younger.
little bit of zip on his delivery.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Did you just see the Jug video?
He was
yes,
god awful in that NFC Championship
Oh,
game.
yeah, sure, he
That
wasn't
second
great.
half, he tried to give the game away, but Aaron was so terrible.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I look at Tom Brady and go, yeah, he's a starter, right? And he's going to be consistently giving you 20, 22 points,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he's going to be consistent through the season, but he's not going to win you a game. But he'll probably not lose you a game.
He's definitely not
Think
going to
so?
lose you.
Okay.
I
Rodgers
don't
with
think
those stats,
I don't
man.
think he's got the ceiling that you want
Well,
in a top tier
Here's
fantasy
the problem.
starter.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Here's where I'll disagree with you on that. Now,
I'm going
as
to
a
disagree with
diehard Patriots fan, I'll tell you this right off the bat, and everybody that plays fantasy should know this. Don't draft Patriots players.
Yeah.
And as good as Brady's been throughout his career, he's never really been a fantasy stud.
Last year.
Except for that 2007 season.
last year. Sure.
Now, last year,
Yeah.
here's why I've got Brady in my top 5 this year. Generally, I agree with you, Dom.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a Buccaneers offense
Yeah.
that sputtered and didn't really figure it out until the end of the season.
Yeah.
And now, once you saw what they did at the end of the season,
Yeah.
everybody's clicking on all cylinders, and they brought everybody. Reason
Well,
I got Brady in my top
here's
5.
here's my question though.
Evans can't be as bad as he
When-
was last year.
But, but
Godwin's gonna be healthy.
when they started clicking, was it because Tom Brady was throwing it all over the field,
No.
or was it because of
They
the
were
football?
running the ball.
Yeah, running ball,
Right.
playing
Ronald
good,
Jones-
great defense. The
Yeah,
defense
great
is outstanding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Tom Brady, not necessarily in the top tier of fantasy real life quarterbacks, absolutely top tier all day. Every
You
day.
don't think they're gonna have a bunch of short fields? He's gonna have a bunch
Oh
of
yeah,
cheap
for
touchdowns.
Sure, for sure.
I think they're going to run a lot of those in.
You think so?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got Ronald Jones and Gio and Leonard Fournette.
I feel like they're gonna
Yeah.
score a lot more touchdowns, and of course you can't predict how many passing touchdowns
aren't
are
really
gonna be.
predictable.
Right.
It's more
But I can
about-
see him throwing like those little
They
flare
got a
things he would throw
ton
to
of
James
threats
White,
and
throwing
weapons.
those to one of those running
Gronk.
backs. Yeah, to Gronk or whoever. And I think he's going to get 10 easy,
Yeah.
cheap touchdowns
again,
and go from a
again.
2 touchdown, 300 yards to 3 touchdowns.
I think he's
300 yards.
I think he's a lower ceiling, higher floor quarterback. And when you're looking
agree.
at fantasy, for me, philosophy wise,
Right.
you got to have that high ceiling of a player that can single handedly win you a game in a week. And he just doesn't have that, especially compared to Allen, Murray, Jackson,
All
and
right.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
So if he ends
If
up,
Allen plays all the games, and I'm being a little balancing or hedging my bets, but if Allen is Allen the way he's supposed to be, then
Yeah.
Brady definitely gets bumped down to another tier.
okay, so I want to do this. So if Brady ends up being a QB1, like top 6, top 6, because this is your list.
A QB1.
No, for us, what we were
QB
12.
It's top 12.
Right. No,
correct.
I'm talking about from your
Or a
list.
tier 1 because you're gonna
tier
have
one.
you're gonna
So
have
top
10 to
6.
12 QB1s.
So
right?
a top 4 quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If he's a top 4 quarterback,
Yeah.
you have to take a picture with Brady's jersey on because Ryan's got one.
I've got a couple that you can choose from.
Oh, okay. That should be easy
You
if you
like
think
blue
he's
eyes.
a third tier guy.
Right, it
that's
should be.
fine. That's
So
no
if
problem.
he ends up in the top 4, you have to take a picture with the Brady jersey on.
That's fine.
Okay,
What do you guys have to do
All right,
if
sweet.
he's not in
Nothing. This was what you said. This
Okay.
is-
Well, you guys
good
have
with
knocked
blue.
the Janarian in your
Okay.
top 4, so
Well, Ryan has him in his top 5, so you guys can make that bet. He'll wear a Josh Allen jersey and take a picture.
why is that a bad thing?
Well, because he's a Patriots fan.
Yeah, but
It would be the same thing. you
Yeah,
know,
we got to figure it
Bruce
out.
Smith
Come up with
jersey.
some stuff.
we've now spent like a half an hour talking about the first 4 quarters. We got every
We
other
have.
position to go to. So real quick, second tier, I have Herbert, Wilson, Prescott, and Rodgers.
Man, I don't even
there.
have Russell in there.
You don't have Russell.
I got Lamar Jackson, Herbert, Brady, and Dak in my number 2.
Why the Lamar Jackson hate, man? What's going
I know.
on?
Just because he throws for 200 yards.
Yeah, but he runs.
Is he the Lamar Jackson the last 6 weeks of the season, or is the Lamar Jackson the first 12 weeks of the season?
He's both, but it's going to end up
He's got the
having a bunch of
ceiling.
points.
That's,
Right.
that's my thing. Is he's got the ceiling.
I would just rather have Rodgers.
Plus, he's got an entire offseason
Right.
versus last season when they didn't really have much of an offseason.
Sure.
Right? I think he comes back and he's much stronger.
Oh,
I think he's
100%.
in a better position.
I
And
hope
he's
so.
got better weapons.
I hope so because I
And he's
plan
got
on
better
having him
weapons.
on one of my teams or so.
Well, sure.
You know,
Right.
So you never know. So
right.
anybody got anything different in their QB2 line?
But mine's different because I moved Allen and
yeah,
Rodgers
for
because
sure.
of those other concerns.
What about Wilson? I've got Wilson. I haven't heard anybody say his name other than me.
I think he should be in the second tier.
Yeah, that's what I
have
got him.
third.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
What happened? What happened to Russell where he won't be?
Russell,
Well, they're going to run the ball more.
Russell's one of
Yeah,
those
that's what
dudes,
they
man.
say.
That, so I'm now realizing that there's two people that I left out of my top 5 that I feel a little bit of a fool about.
Who are
Russell
these?
Wilson being one,
Oh.
Patrick Mahomes being another one. Patrick Mahomes
You didn't
is
have
that.
him in-
It's unspoken. He's that dude.
Obviously.
Can,
That's
we
that guy.
can we officially then move Tom Brady out of your number 1, please?
I would like everybody to calm down.
All right.
No, I've got. No, Brady's staying in there.
Yeah, no,
my
I
top
mean,
5 is
I
more
don't
like a
disagree.
top 7, as it turns out.
I
Yeah.
don't disagree that he
Yeah.
should stay in there. Like I don't. I think
I
that
wrote
he's gonna have a great-
1.5s down to some people. I got
got a
Dak as a
1.8.
1.5 and a Russell's 1.5, Rodgers 1.5. But
1A, 1B.
yeah,
1C,
I'm not.
1D.
I don't know what to think about Justin Herbert. I don't know if that's going to translate and happen again. I feel like
Mike Williams is
I-
new offense, new coach.
New coach.
Who knows?
Man, he's gonna have way more target. He's
Yeah.
he's gonna throw way more.
The team was so trash, right?
I
So
know the team was
Lost
they're gonna.
Hunter Henry.
it's like Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles had an amazing year. I don't know, 8-9 years ago because the team was really bad.
Well, right.
And then the next year they were good, and so he didn't have the same numbers because he wasn't
Yeah,
down
but
15 points.
He didn't have it.
Right.
Right.
No.
Well, I call them San Diego, Los
Right.
Angeles, with the damn Chargers.
Right.
'cause
Well,
there's too
with
many teams
Austin,
out,
if he's
yeah.
healthy.
But
and
if you're
plays a
down
full
3
game.
touchdowns every game, like your numbers are gonna look a little weird. 'Cause that's the thing with Prescott and
Well, that's what I was
Herbert.
gonna say. I think
if your
Pres-
if your
I
team's
think-
trash, then you'll have good numbers.
Yeah,
I think
you're right.
Prescott's going to be
Gardner
that guy
Minshew.
this year. That's the wins the Blake Bortles Memorial
Yeah.
trash fantasy football MVP.
Who,
Yep.
Dak?
Yeah, Dak.
Because
Oh, because they're gonna be down. You think
Because
the Cowboys
No,
gonna be bad?
Well,
Defense is
they,
bad.
they may or may not be down, but they're definitely going to be in shootouts every game because they
Yeah.
can't play defense.
yeah, their
and big
defense
de-
isn't great.
Yo, what's that dude? I forgot who's the guy they drafted
Yeah,
first
the guy they
round.
Drafted, sure.
Oh, my
Well,
God.
he's gonna be good. The guy from Penn State.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah, no,
Micah
Micah
Parsons.
Parsons.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
he's gonna be a beast. He's gonna be a problem.
he is going to be
plays
like
for the Cowboys.
he's going to be Minka Fitzpatrick, like
But
game
see,
changing,
Dom
like
brings
just
up a
by
good
himself.
Point, though. Dom brings up a good point. He still plays for the Cowboys.
Yeah, but
And
it doesn't mean
seems
that.
to be, I don't know, Dom.
I don't see them
I don't
down.
know.
I don't see them down 20 points every game.
No,
I don't
know
see him
if
down
they're-
20 points, but
No,
I don't
I
see him
think they're
holding
pretty,
any. Yeah.
The defense is going to be nasty. I'm
Yeah,
telling
is
you,
it- as in
this
they're
guy
gonna be
is
bad?
next level. This Micah Parsons guy.
No, he's good. I just think I'm agreeing with Dom though. That I don't think they're going to hold anybody under 25 to 30 points.
Yeah.
like
So
I
I don't
don't
know.
Dak's
know.
going to have to throw the ball regardless.
right.
Huh.
I even like the Cowboys just from a fan
Gross.
standpoint. Not that I like them; they're just fun to watch. They've got all these names.
Well,
but
yeah.
if there's one thing I've learned watching
Crazy
the Cowboys,
weapons.
man. If you're in preseason expecting them to do big things,
Don't.
you're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Right. They
I
went
don't-
through
I
how
don't-
many
I don't
years of
fuck with
Tony
Cowboys
Romo with
fans,
that?
man.
Right.
They're
How
the
many-
worst.
Yeah, they're living in the
I don't
90s.
mind them. They're fun to
Right.
watch.
Exactly.
In the
so-
70s or the 90s, they're living in this. Neither one of those are
third
good.
tier is where I think it gets interesting because we
Yeah.
covered some pretty common names in
Yeah.
the first, and the fact that I have Tom Brady in the third tier is a little divergent from everybody else.
For sure.
Right.
But I think in the third tier, that's where you can have a lot more diversity
Mm-hmm.
as to who's there. So I have Tom Brady there, but I also have Matthew Stafford,
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tannehill, and Jalen Hurts.
Really?
I have him
Wow,
there.
he's terrible.
He is. And
He's
I think
god-awful.
I think he could potentially suck. But I also
Yeah.
think he could potentially
might
be
be right.
great in fantasy
Yeah.
because he's
Could
going
because
to
he
be
runs.
running like
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
Yeah.
And
You're not
and
wrong, but you ain't right.
look,
Yeah.
Which is one of them things.
1 point per 10 yards
Right.
versus 1 point per 25
Sure.
yards.
Right.
Sure.
6 points per touchdown versus 4 points
Sure.
per touchdown.
No,
the
it's
running
understandable.
is in fantasy
Mm-hmm.
makes you a better quarterback.
Of course.
And-
Will he be the starter after week 10?
With who's,
That's
who's
where
behind
I'm
him?
concerned
Yeah,
about.
man,
Who
I'd
is
be
behind
worried
him?
about
Who's-
him keeping his
I don't
job.
think
Who's
he's going to
behind
keep his
him?
job.
Who's
It doesn't
behind
matter. He's terrible. So, like, he's eventually going to lose a job.
though.
Well, we
They-
know Blake
they're gonna-
Bortles
cares?
did.
He's not going to make
You
it.
better learn his name.
He's not going to make it.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's not going to make. He's not going to make it the whole season. I just
And he
'cause
may not.
Well, so
they'll be 2-8 after
No,
week
I-
10.
I
They're
don't-
going to be terrible.
There's a couple of names that nobody's named yet. It's Matt Ryan, right?
Yep.
So Mr. 5,000 yards or whatever, right? And then Joe Burrow.
I was
Oh,
just about
Ryan.
Burrow's set up. He's set, but I think they're in that third tier, right? But Burrow's set up for
Got my boy Chase.
Yeah, Jamar Chase.
Throwing
he's
it
gonna
to
be
him all day.
nasty. And then they have what's his name, Randy Moss's son, that played tight end. They just signed him or they drafted him, I think.
Thaddeus, that's his name?
Thaddeus Moss. Yeah, they
Burrow-
drafted him.
Burrow's a good
He's got
potential candidate
Higgins
to get
and
into
Tyler
the
Boyd.
top into the top 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan's a decent candidate to get into the top 12.
Well, yeah,
Kirk
because
Cousins is
yeah,
a
Kirk
decent
Cousins.
candidate.
What do y'all
Boy,
think
yeah.
about
Well,
Stat Padford?
I like Stafford.
Staff? Well, Pat.
I call him
Pat-
Stat Padford because he just throws for empty yards.
Stat
Well,
Pat.
I have Stafford as my number 9
I have
Yeah.
him in my-
overall because he made the transition from the Lions
Yeah, to the Rams.
to the
To a
Rams.
winning
That's a big
Yes,
organization.
deal,
he's
man.
going to
Well,
a winning organization
That makes
with
a huge
real
deal.
weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And
Well, and their running back
and
just
they
got hurt,
and
too.
they just lost Akers, which means they are going to throw the football.
How do you
Right.
feel if you're Jared Goff? They're like, yeah, you're living in sunny LA. Nope, sorry. You're moving to Detroit. Like,
Well, you got paid, so you got
No,
a
he
big
definitely got
paycheck behind.
paid.
You got
Yeah.
paid.
he
so.
can live on
That's a
private
strong
island.
emotion, man.
He fooled
This is
somebody. He fooled somebody, and he got paid,
I'd
even
be
though he
pissed.
had no business getting that money.
Right.
And he's laughing up there in the Motor City.
Yeah.
Look,
He's
we got
laughing.
friends from Detroit.
Meanwhile, Stafford,
Stat Padford.
who
Padford.
has one of the strongest arms in the NFL,
Yes.
is one of the toughest competitors in the NFL, has
Yeah.
never had a
Well, he's
legitimate
hurt.
shot
Sure. At winning.
to play on a winner,
Right.
is now on a winning organization.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
Yep.
better.
They-
They're
I
going to
mean,
be in
they-
trouble.
They'll get a running back. They'll figure that out. They got
Daryl Singletary is not the. Is that
No, it's Henderson.
Henderson. Daryl Henderson is not the answer there.
There's plenty of time. If this happened in mid-August, I'd be more concerned.
Dude, we
They
were
can
looking
trade.
at that.
I'm not really concerned about them because
Somebody's gonna get
they're-
cut from another team.
No,
ends
we
up
won't-
on-
Gurley's available.
They're going to figure out the running game. I'm not even worried about that.
I think
Stafford
it
has
should be.
proven
Yeah.
for the last decade
That you can-
plus that he can,
can
throw
put
for
up stats
5,000 yards
without a
without
running back.
a running
Yeah.
back. And he's got, we know Cooper Kupp, we know the players that they
Robert
have
Woods.
there. But here's somebody
Bobby
interesting.
Trees.
Here's somebody
Trees.
interesting. You've got one of the guys with one of the strongest arms in the league. And you got a guy named Deshaun Jackson who's
Sure.
sitting there on that team that nobody's even talking about.
'Cause he's
everybody
7, sorry.
and catches the ball.
Right.
All he has to do is run down the field every
Hot route.
single
Yeah, hot route.
time.
Yeah.
Still
Every
fast,
time.
man.
Every
bad,
time.
too.
Week 1, they'll have 6 catches for 160 yards,
And then-
tear his hamstring, and not play another game.
Yeah, but straight for that one game.
Right.
man.
He'll be good for Stafford. He won't. I wouldn't want anybody.
He's gonna
He's
gonna
a-
win somebody.
Well,
A DraftKings.
He's gonna win a
he is.
DFL.
Yep.
And he's a serviceable replacement for Will Fuller, who won't be playing week 1.
He'll
Yeah.
have 3 games this year where he scores like 20, 30
Will
points,
Fuller.
and then he'll
We're
have
not
the
playing
rest
week
of
one
his
if you
games where
draft
he
Will
doesn't
Fuller.
score jack squat.
Oh yeah, no, that's
And
what we're
you'll
saying.
never guess what we.
Well,
Yeah, no.
well, one person we met. So if Deshaun Watson does not end up on the exempt list,
Yeah,
and he just plays, running for his life,
he's in a tier 2.
he is tier 2,
He's a
easy,
tier 2,
right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I don't even think it's close.
Yeah, he may be in tier 1.
Who's he
Yeah.
throwing
Yeah.
to on that team anymore?
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. He won't be playing. For
It
the
doesn't
Texans.
matter.
He won't be playing for the Texans.
But if he
They're shot-
does,
If
but
he
if he
ends up
does,
if he ends up in Denver,
Denver, for example, he's got Cortland Sutton. He's got Javante Williams.
oh,
who's gonna be
they got
nasty.
weapons.
he's got
Oh yeah,
Judy.
for sure.
Yeah.
Jerry Judy.
Yeah.
You got people that can get.
So he's a wild card. He's a tier.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
a
they
tier
want
2.
him
man.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he goes to Denver,
Yeah.
look.
I bet
Yeah.
the Texans
If-
are asking for like 7
Yeah.
number 1
If
picks.
if he goes to Denver and he
Oh, it's
plays,
gonna be bad. Yeah.
If
the
he
Chiefs
goes to-
have some
if
legit
he-
competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Legit
Yes.
competition.
I mean,
Yeah, that's a problem.
Like
that's-
if he's
yeah.
around in one of my drafts, like the 11th round,
Oh, yeah, for
something
sure.
like
Oh,
that,
take
it
I'll,
flyer on.
I'll
They're-
grab him.
They're instant
Yeah.
top 3 in the league,
Yeah.
in the AFC.
Oh,
Yeah.
rather, if they get a real quarterback.
Yeah.
If for some reason they got Rodgers or they got Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go from.
Yeah.
They're not making the playoffs.
Well, if-
they're not doing anything to.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
out.
Well, you
Exactly.
go from Drew Lock being your quarterback or Teddy Two
Yeah.
Gloves to you have those choices. All right,
Anybody else we want to talk about? Is
quarterback wise, anybody we missed?
So
So you know what? Hold on, I did want to touch on this because we
Yeah.
skipped over this. Russell Wilson, just real quick. So the last 6 weeks, Russell Wilson was like quarterback 14 or some stupid, terrible number like that, right?
Yep.
After week 6, because they started running the ball more, they changed those philosophies. They're going to keep the same philosophies that they have this year. So
So they
I'm
say.
always scared. Right. Well, I'm always scared that I'm going to be scared to draft Russell, even though I wouldn't have any hesitation drafting DK Metcalf. Like
Right.
zero hesitation drafting DK. I don't think that I'm going to draft Russell. I don't think I do it. I did last year. I don't think I'll do it. this year.
He'll fall to somebody.
Yeah,
He'll
7 or
be
8
a great
or 9
value.
or something. Yeah, oh, absolutely. He's a great
he's
value
gonna
pick
he's
for sure.
gonna win some. Whoever gets
League
him
winner.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not no.
You don't think
they're
so?
not going to be the league winner.
You think so?
But they're going to the first 7 or 8 games of the season.
They're going to be great.
they're going to be
Right.
either top of the league or second in the league, and, then they'll
after
start.
they
That's
lose 6 in a row.
that's what
Yeah.
they do.
Right.
Yeah.
In Seattle is they stop throwing the ball.
Did you have something else you want to say, quarterback wise?
I was just gonna say two things.
Baker.
Baker's.
I didn't even think about
Baker's
Baker. To be
Baker's
honest.
a good one, but
He doesn't.
Baker is not drafted.
He's not better than any of these.
I don't love Baker from a fantasy standpoint. Two, I don't think we spend enough time talking about Joe Burrow. I think if you want to talk about just from the logic of the Bengals aren't very good. The only way they're going to be able to stay in games is to put up points and sling it with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I think you can use that logic better than anything else with regards to who he's throwing to and whatnot. To argue that I think that Burrow could be good, another
He definitely
wild
can be
card. I want to see what Carson Wentz does
Sure.
in Indianapolis.
Yeah, he
like,
needs
could be
better
boom
receivers.
or bust.
He needs better receivers.
But if he goes back to how he was
Yeah.
when he was with Frank Reich,
Sure.
Oh, my goodness.
that's a problem.
I
Yeah.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. On the Carson Wentz thing, man, like, he needs somebody better than T.Y. Hilton, like, to be, like, the predominant receiver there.
And they run the ball
Right.
a lot.
And they
Right.
need Mo Alley Cox
lot.
to be better, to be targeted more because he's a huge.
But they have
unit.
3 serviceable tight
He's a
ends. You
huge
just don't know which one to
Don't
play.
they
They are
always?
pretty talented.
Yeah, and
They've
then
been the
Joe,
Colts for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, I was watching the bottom line this morning, and they said that they weren't out of the Bengals camp. They're not rushing him. They're going to let him go at his own pace. So
Burrow.
is that a little concerning? You're not drafting him to be your starter, I don't think.
All right.
I don't think.
You may be forced to, but
Yeah,
but you'll have a
yeah,
backup.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
let's
when I-
so I will say, and if you end up drafting anybody in your third tier, you're probably also drafting a backup. If
Correct.
you
Yeah, for
draft
sure.
anybody, say in your top 8,
Yeah,
you're not.
Yeah, you're pretty happy.
My philosophy
You're
is
happy.
you don't draft a backup quarterback.
Right, yeah, for sure.
Because you're going to play them in any situation, and the only time you're not is during the week they have a bye.
Right.
If they get hurt.
You could
Right.
draft
And
him
re-
for trade capital.
Why?
I
mean,
draft
but you
to take
could.
a flyer. I take
Yeah.
a guy that I
Like
know
Deshaun
is
Watson.
steady Eddie,
Well,
and then I
Right.
take
Let's-
another guy that's a total wild.
Let's,
Right, no, I get that.
let's talk about that in draft
Yeah,
philosophies
absolutely.
later. But
Absolutely.
you know, but just in general,
Yeah.
if you're drafting late QB, you're probably drafting 2,
Yep.
regardless of what your draft philosophy is.
All right, well, let's
Right.
move on to
Oh,
running
well,
backs.
well, can I
Yeah,
interject
absolutely.
something? How about Tannehill? Now that he
yeah.
has 2 great,
with Julio Jones.
2 great wide
Oh,
receivers,
I do have him. in
and
my
people
friends
will
here.
be
Not
stacking the
Tannehill.
box.
He had 4,500 yards last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Most successful, worst QB I've ever seen.
So to Merrill's point,
but they're going to be
so-
dropping people in the box to stop Henry. So
Oh, Julio can't stay on the field. Jones last year with
Yeah.
Henry is just
Yeah, how is
yeah, I updated those rosters so anybody who plays Madden,
all you.
when those rosters were updated, and when I play somebody and I'm the Titans,
Yeah.
can't beat me. It's just there's nothing you can
No,
stop.
there's
What are you
like-
gonna
It's
stop?
like old
They
school
are
Bo
not-
Jackson and
Yeah.
Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
They are not going to lose football games
Yep.
because their offense
$21 to
isn't
10.
productive.
Yeah, dude, I
They're
mean,
going
it's
to
like
lose
you-
football games because they simply can't stop anybody on defense.
And I'll use Merrill's reference. Derrick Henry's got Barney Rubble hands.
Yeah.
He's got the Barney
Yeah,
Rubble hands.
but
So
he creates such a mismatch.
does.
Yeah, I
Speaking
mean, like
of Derrick
Oh
Henry.
yeah, that's tier 1 easy. Right?
Tier 1
we go to
Because-
running backs.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Merrill, who you got on your running backs? Top 6.
Oh, this should be.
I
Run
got
it.
I got Derrick Henry by himself,
Henry?
but if I gotta put people with
Hold
him,
on, hold on.
CPR league.
For PPR, you got Derrick Henry by himself. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Fair
yep,
enough.
still by himself.
fair enough.
I'm still a little shaky on McCaffrey. If McCaffrey's 100% healthy, I
That's
put
what
him and Henry
we're
together.
assuming. We're
So
assuming.
if I'm still
Yeah,
well,
we're
okay. With that assumption, I put McCaffrey
Okay.
1,
Yeah.
along with Henry, Cook, and Kamara.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that.
Would you have 5 and 6?
Chubb, and I don't really have another person.
Saquon.
You're not doing Saquon?
Don't trust
No
it.
Saquon?
Don't trust Zeke
What
either.
about Aaron Jones?
Nope.
He said before the show there's 100 Aaron Joneses.
100 Aaron Jones.
Well, apparently not, because then this draft board would go way
Not
deeper.
100, a few though. I think he's replaceable.
Yeah, so it'd
I
be
really clearly think
he's
Cook,
replaced-
McCaffrey, Henry, Kamara, Chubb,
Yeah,
draw a line.
But
Really, Chubb that far?
Keep in mind that just because somebody's replaceable doesn't mean they're not in a great situation to score points in fantasy.
Totally.
Right.
And
Totally.
playing in Green Bay
True.
with Aaron Rodgers slinging the ball,
Absolutely.
he's going to be in position
That's how he did it
to
last year.
score a lot of points.
How we did it last year.
Yeah, so just because he's not the most talented
Right.
guy in the NFL doesn't mean he doesn't have the best situation.
Right.
Or
If he
one
was
of the
the best running back, if that was like my RB1, I'd be concerned
Yeah.
on my team.
Interesting.
He's
I have him in
he'll
my top
be
6.
solid, but I don't.
If-
I think it's
I
5
love
running
him
backs and then,
wholeheartedly.
then a
If-
bunch of conversation for the other ones.
If Nick Chubb was my RB1, I'd be pretty concerned because you have another guy on the
Kareem
team.
Hunt.
They,
Yeah.
they can
Yeah.
share it.
Yeah.
My-
And they did
my,
share it.
my,
Well.
my criteria, though, for an RB1 is really
It's your
do
job.
they have the majority of the touches?
Yeah.
If there's nobody
Chubb
else
does that.
sharing,
If you run it 40 times, though, and
Yeah.
you get half of them,
Yeah.
that's the same thing.
I don't have any problem with Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt,
Yeah.
for that matter, to be honest.
I don't have
Hunt,
a problem drafting either of them, but they're not who I want as my RB1.
get
To
that.
Dom's point, that's the same thing you're saying. I agree with that. I want my RB1 to be the
The
workhorse.
guy.
Right, like, for instance, Joe Mixon couldn't move his way into this list because Giovanni Bernard has been traded,
Yeah.
and so he's pretty much the only show in town as long as he stays
So
healthy.
that's-
He's a problem.
It's funny you bring those guys up because that's where I learned that lesson the hard way. I had
I'm sure.
Joe Mixon, I think his second or his first season, and there were some weeks where Joe Mixon was incredible, but there was other weeks where Giovanni Bernard was the running back.
Yeah,
So
oh,
you
yeah.
never knew. There's some weeks where
That's 'cause
I
G-
get
really
some
well.
weeks where I get two.
Right, but that's why you want to have that guy who is the guy.
Yeah.
The cowbell.
Yeah.
Right, that's
The
the,
cow-
I guess
the
I'm
Dalvin
I'm
Cooks.
just like thinking about it just with the carries. I
More
feel like
cowbell.
Chubb is going to
Need more
get 20
cowbell.
touches regardless of
You
the
do need
game.
more cowbell.
But I see what you're saying though,
Yeah, yeah.
because Hunt could get really hot one night,
Oh, sure.
does.
and then Chubb will
But
just
see,
be like,
Hunt gets hot in the third quarter. Right,
does.
it's the third and fourth quarters. Kareem
And they
Hunt,
throw
because
it to him
the ball.
more.
They throw
They
the
throw
ball
it to him more.
They don't really run it with him. They just run it with him as a change of pace or Chubb gets hurt.
So
You
I
have
think
a question, Dre? What were
Yeah.
you saying?
has the best offensive line.
Which running back has the best offensive
who's
line?
the best offensive
I mean,
line?
that has got to be Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook.
Nah,
Like,
I don't know. I would
Don't
think
the
so.
Cowboys have a good line again?
not anymore.
No, their line is
No.
I
trash.
thought
they have
they
good
revamped
names.
I mean,
if the guys
if-
are healthy, there's two
if-
guys coming back.
If offensive line made a difference,
Ooh,
then Clyde Edwards-Helaire would be in the top because he's getting the majority of the carries.
yeah, but he didn't
and-
really get a lot of carries though.
God, if you watch that Super Bowl,
Yeah,
Andy Reid is just he will
He's-
not run the ball
No,
when
he
he
doesn't run
should.
the
I
ball.
just it's weird.
that's why
I know.
something
But
weird.
their offensive line right now is just stacked.
Yeah.
Washington has a really good.
They
offensive
brought in Joe Tooney.
Yeah,
One of the
but
best
they
guards.
got rid of Fisher.
I don't trust
and-
Andy Reid, man. I just don't. They like to sling that ball,
I
man.
know, man.
They
But
do.
I mean,
well, that's that West Coast offense.
deservedly
The-
so though. They got Patrick
the,
Mahomes.
the
Yeah.
3-yard crossing
Tyreek
route
Hill.
is the running game.
Yeah.
And the Tyreek Hill 50 yards down the field.
Or you can do it-
It's still a
10
running
seconds
game.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Tyreek Hill's on.
I want to hear more about Clint. You talk about Saquon. I want to hear more.
Well,
like,
hold, can we just stop for a
Okay,
second
let's
and
go
all
fill the
agree
tiers.
that the
CMC.
top 4 is McCaffrey,
Yep.
Henry,
Yep.
Kamara,
Yes.
Cook,
Yep.
Yes.
and then this is where we start to
This,
So
see,
argue.
I have Barkley in my tier 1
I do too.
because
Well, he may be
of
your tier 1. He is
2,000
he your 5
yards.
and 6.
5.
He's 5.
He'd be
Okay.
five.
Yep.
Yeah, I got him above
Wow.
Chubb. I actually got
Okay.
Aaron Jones above Chubb.
I don't trust
I-
Barkley, man.
Dude,
He's-
you want to? So look, this will surprise you. Okay, so CMC, Cook, Kamara, Henry, Barkley, Jones. Those are my top 6. Okay. After that, Zeke, Gibson, Taylor, Eckler, Chubb, Mixon, and then Kareem Hunt.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I'm with Dom and Ryan on the bell cow. Sorry, cowbell.
Cowbell.
Cowbell. The
Yeah.
cowbell stuff.
Yeah. Well, in that case, Jonathan Taylor is going to be
He's gonna be a problem.
monster.
Yeah, I got,
Oh, he's
I
gonna be a
got
problem.
Taylor as my
So-
number 6.
Yeah,
Jumps
no,
in.
he's
I
definitely
got, I
in tier
got
2.
Jones at 5,
He's in
Taylor
tier
at
two.
6.
Taylor's
I
my
have-
number 1 RB2.
I get it.
If I can
yeah, me
get
too.
him as my RB2,
Me too. I take
okay.
him over Zeke in
Yeah.
a fucking heartbeat.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat.
I have
bro.
Zeke 6 and Jonathan Taylor 7.
No,
so
I
I
take
can't
Ze-
say I wholeheartedly disagree with
Well,
you.
look. So if Wentz is as good as Dominic wants him to be, then then Jonathan Taylor's gonna be amazing, for real. Because Carson Wentz can throw for 45 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't
and
think
30
they're going to be
yards.
that great. I think they're going to lean on Taylor because he's going to be there.
Oh,
with
of
them.
course he is.
Yeah.
That's why I have Taylor as
Jonathan
my 6.
Taylor has the dropsies though.
I don't care if he's got the
He
drop
always
zones.
has.
He's got the runs.
Yeah.
I don't.
Runsies.
He's definitely got the runsies for
Usually
sure.
not a good thing to have.
No.
Fantasy football, great.
Yes.
The greatness of the runsies. All right, so easy top tier running backs. We all know
Yep.
what they are. We all would draft them if they were available.
Yep.
And so now we go on to tier 2. So you already heard mine. You already heard mine, starting with Zeke, Gibson, Jonathan Taylor, Eckler, Chubb, Mixon. So anybody that you guys would replace? Any of them?
I got Carson up there. I don't have.
Wow.
I have Barkley.
He's in my tier 4.
Barkley, Eckler, Elliott, Chubb, Mixon, and Carson.
I'm
Who's
not.
Carson.
I'm not mad at any of that except for Carson. I don't
Why,
know. man.
well, why? You didn't like Russ
I know.
because they're going to run the football
Right.
more. Who are they going to run the football with?
All the things that they have, because that's what Pete Carroll likes to do.
Yeah, but that's
You have
not
Rashard
good,
Penny
though.
that's finally healthy, and he'll probably get some of the carries. He'll,
He'll
probably get
probably-
10 a day. But Chris Carson is injury prone too, so who
Yeah.
knows? You know what I'm saying? Is I don't trust anything Seattle unless it's DK Metcalf or possibly Tyler Lockett.
I would not trust you. You of all people
I
should
know
know
it.
you don't trust
I know
Tyler.
Oh,
it.
my
Lockett.
goodness.
I know
Yeah.
it. I know it.
Yeah,
But-
he was so
however-
bad for that long
but
stretch.
check this out though. Finish wide receiver 8.
Oh, because he was amazing the first 6 or
Finish
7
wide
weeks.
receiver 8.
Yeah.
It's like what
If
the
you
fuck?
look at his scoring
Yeah.
and scoring,
Yeah.
and
We'll talk about them in a
on a
while.
graph.
Right.
They are pretty much the same.
All right, so
I got a sneaky suspicion
Please.
if the offensive line comes to play, Najee Harris could
Oh,
be. He
four.
could be in. I have him into the 2/3.
well, that's his language.
He's in the bottom of my list on RB2.
Yeah.
So
And I have an asterisk next to him, and I did not complete my notes, so I can't tell you what that means.
Right.
Dre, didn't y'all lose a bunch of your offensive line? Yeah, and so they do not have the best offensive line.
They didn't have the
Terrible.
last
and
season.
they lost to
and-
Villanueva.
They were
right?
so bad.
Well, but if you suck and you let those guys go, can
Right.
you only go up from there?
Yeah.
I mean-
That's what I'm
I mean,
wondering.
it doesn't
Well-
necessarily mean you get worse. You just sign better players.
Well, also take a look at. I think
Pouncey retired. Yeah.
As your line.
Right.
And most of those guys left.
right.
So
I mean,
to lose-
plus I think you take a step up with Najee Harris from James Conner. So like,
I think
so,
we all agree.
But I have him in my tier 4. Tier 3 is where it gets interesting to me, right? So I want some thoughts. Okay, I already told you about Kareem Hunt. I'm really high on Kareem Hunt. I'll draft him. I don't have any problem. How does David Montgomery go down to a tier 3 running back?
I'm thinking about.
How does
okay.
that happen?
I've got
I
him
don't know.
tier
I've
two.
got him in my tier 4.
Yeah. So do you know where? Do you
Oh,
know where,
really?
Do you know where
Wow.
he finished last year? Anybody?
He
Guesses?
had 17.6.
Any guesses where he finished, Ryan, without looking? Any guesses?
Well, no.
8,
Running back 4.
4. Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
He was
I
a
didn't
beast
know
the
that.
last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, in PPR,
Yeah.
running back for the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So this is why I was saying, it's like, how do you take him over any of these other guys?
Right.
You know
They're going
what
to have
I'm saying?
like
So that's where
shaky
that problem-
quarterback stuff. They'll
Right.
figure out if they're going to get
Right.
Fields ready or
Look,
play the other. Who's the
year-
starter?
The year to year
The
on
Bears.
Andy Dalton.
is somewhat
Until it's Justin
problematic.
Fields.
You can't look at the previous year's production.
Yeah, it's
because
hard.
Some guys are
No,
hurt. Some
right,
guys
exactly.
But there's a
But
completely different quarterback situation.
His
there
quarterback
now.
situation this year is way better than it was last year.
Okay, we're
That's debatable.
yeah.
I don't
I
think
agree
so.
that it's debatable.
I don't
He
think
does
so.
have
Good point.
necessarily the best point. At the same time,
Right.
I don't trust Chicago's.
Yeah, no,
offense at
I
all,
understand that,
ever.
and we could talk about that in quarterbacks. That's fine.
Yeah, but
That's fine.
But when I say that, I don't necessarily expect Montgomery to produce as the number 4, especially when you have a bunch of guys that were hurt before coming back.
Right.
Right.
Barkley,
and playing
McCaffrey.
or
Sure,
getting better
right,
situations.
right,
Or rookies
absolutely.
coming in. I don't expect Josh Jacobs. I expect him to have a little bit better year this year.
Ooh, that's we.
Nobody-
May
And
do.
Eckler, he's in my
That's number
second
2.
tier.
Me too.
Okay.
He's my number 8.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
because he's going to have 100 catches.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
he's going to be like Chris. As long as he stays healthy,
That's
he's
my
going to
big
have
thing
100
with
catches.
Eckler.
He's going to have, let's just call it 800 rushing yards, maybe 700 rushing yards, 8 or 9 touchdowns, 100 catches for 1,100 yards,
He
and
is
another
not
5 or 6
built
touchdowns.
To be that
Dude,
dude that gets all those carries.
Not at all.
fucking shifty.
He's-
I know he is. I
he's-
love him.
And he's not going to be the guy that gets
No,
all
he's
the
not
No.
going to get the ball.
He's
not
going
to
to
carry
be
the
the
whole time.
guy.
Josh
that gets
Kelly's
the
going
ball.
to. Yeah.
And Justin Herbert is the fucking
It's the
nasty.
catches
Yeah.
that'll make him like in
Yeah.
a standard
In the
league that's not a
PPR, he's
PPR.
better.
He's
All right.
yeah.
So, Merrill, I have a question. You were not high on Saquon. You wanted
No.
me to say something about him earlier. And you have him, I'm sure, in your tier 3 because you said
I
you
have
would
tier
draft
2.
him. Okay. So
Yeah,
you won't
I'd say
draft him
tier
before the
2.
third round, though. We talked
Yeah, I don't
about
think he's
this
going to
earlier.
play until October. So
Okay, so this guy, to me, he's definitely one of the most dynamic running backs in the league if he's healthy. So what I'm trying best case scenario, which is why he was in my tier 1. So best case scenario, he's 2,000 yards plus. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. He's a 1,300 yard rusher, especially with 17 games.
Right.
You guys don't forget that there's an extra game this year.
right, but you
Right.
think but you're assuming he's going to play week 1.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's going to play week 1. That's
All right.
what I'm saying.
I just don't believe he will.
And I understand
Yeah.
that.
Even if
He
he
might.
doesn't, he's coming back. And
Yeah,
when he
yeah, no,
does,
he's coming
I
back.
don't really have any real
Yeah.
reason to believe with modern medicine, especially sports medicine.
Yeah, I get that.
He'll be back.
I mean,
I
AC
think
did
I'm
it how many
I'm
times?
using Dalvin Cook as the model. So
AD.
Dalvin Cook took a while. He was maybe October-ish before he was like back to himself. So
Yeah.
that's maybe Barkley's going to be superhuman like
Like
Adrian
AP.
Peterson was. But I just think there's only one Adrian Peterson. So
That
I
is
think
very
you
true.
won't get full Saquon to October. And if you're cool with that, which will be helpful because you really don't who cares about your record
long as you can get
in the
by in
regular
September.
season
Yeah.
if you got him for the playoffs?
Especially if you can get Saquon at a discount.
Yeah.
Really, like, for me, that's almost the biggest appeal.
Right.
Yeah, if you can get him in the third or fourth or fifth round or some
Seriously.
shit like
If
that.
the
around
third.
it.
If I can get him in the late second, early third, yeah,
Boy.
I'll take
You
him.
imagine-
But if I have to jump up to get him in the first round,
No way.
Yeah,
No way.
that,
Can you
that-
imagine, Merrill,
that
having the number
costs
one pick?
people their season.
Can
Yeah.
you
That
imagine
costs
having
people
the
their
number one
season.
pick and on your wraparound second to your third, getting Saquon? Round pick one. I have somebody interesting that I want to mention, if it's
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
Miles Gaskin.
Miles Gaskin. Do it.
So
Okay.
Miami did not draft a running back.
Yep.
They did not trade for a running back. Miles Gaskin is the guy. The cowbell, as Brian would like to say. He's the cowbell in Miami. Now, Miami's going to go as Tua goes, but they did draft Jalen Waddle,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They do have Will Fuller. They traded for Will Fuller. He's going to miss game one, right?
Yep.
And they still have Devontae Parker,
Right.
Right? They still have Mike Gesicki.
Right.
And so it's all on Tua's shoulders, right?
Which is the number
so
one
what,
reason why I wouldn't mess with a lot of people on
right?
that Dolphin period.
But Tua doesn't have any problems handing the ball off, and Miles Gaskin also had 50 receptions last
he
year.
didn't last season either,
Right.
and none of their.
Gaskin finished as a running back 20 last year, so he was running back 2.
I don't
on
know
the
who
year.
this Miles Gascap person is.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is exactly what I was saying. He's on that Dolphins offense. Look, here's the deal. If the only thing they got is that running game, that's going to be easy
They
to key
don't,
on.
but see,
Yeah.
it's all. That's what I'm saying. If Tua can throw the ball at
That is
all,
a huge.
You wanna hang your hat on that,
if.
you go
That's
right
how much
at
he's
at
on.
all.
I'm gonna. I'm. There's gonna be too much. I think. Difference in our third and fourth
Oh, goodness,
years
yeah.
really to
Yeah,
kind
it's
of get
preference.
too far into it. I'm going to give you the names of 3 different guys though, and I want you to tell me which of these potential RB2s are the most likely to move up and finish the season as an RB1
Okay.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
this game.
Of
All right.
the ones that you list,
of the
All right,
ones
let's
that
go.
I
Let's
list.
go.
All right.
This is a
Which
fun game.
which are the most likely?
Fun game.
Antonio Gibson,
Okay.
Mike Davis.
Oh.
Okay. DeAndre Swift.
Oh no.
I like Gibson out of those 3.
Yeah, Gibson for
You
sure.
like Gibson?
I like
Yeah.
Gibson. Well, let's also talk about Fitzmagic. That's what Ryan's nickname should be. Ryan is now
He's got the
Fitzmagic.
bits.
So
Go home and shave.
That's hilarious.
So he's going to throw to Terry McLaurin. He's going to throw 40 times a game, and Gibson is a receiving back.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
And so he's going to have
Catches.
Yeah, he's going to have
70
targets. That's a good number.
Yeah.
That's a good number. But Fitzpatrick gets the ball to everybody. Yeah. Now
Even the other
he's-
team.
Yeah, right. He's
Yeah.
going to throw 40 touchdowns and 38 interceptions. Like, so that's fine. It's Jameis Winston numbers. It'll win you some ball games. It'll lose you some ball games.
Yeah.
But their defense
Jameis.
is good enough
Yeah.
to compensate for most of Fitzpatrick's mistakes.
So I look at that, and I do also like Gibson.
Sure.
But Swift is they have nothing in Detroit.
He's on the
They-
Lions.
They
Yeah.
got. I know.
He's not Barry Sanders.
I know.
So
Yeah.
no on
Carries.
He's gonna get a
a
bunch
hard
of
no for
carries.
me.
Same thing with Mike Davis, right?
if-
He's going to get a
if-
bunch of
Well,
carries.
Mike Davis is the only one there.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the same.
If-
That's the
if-
argument with Swift.
Well, that's the same argument.
No, because
Well,
they have Jamal Williams. Now, they signed Jamal Williams in the offseason.
Oh, in
from Green
Atlanta?
Bay. No, in Detroit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They got
Okay.
Jamal
Oh,
Williams in Detroit.
you're
And
right.
so he's not going to get all those carries. He's going to get a lot. He's going to get a lot of passes. Jared Goff historically has a problem with that unless your name is Todd Gurley.
but Jared Goff is really good at handing the ball off.
He really
definitely
is, but
That's-
he's not. But DeAndre Swift isn't built for handing the ball off like that. He's built for more of the passing game type scenario. To
Maybe.
me,
I feel like I still don't run a lot between the tackles.
no, he
we'll
can
see.
definitely run, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the
You don't see
300
it?
carries. I think
just
he's more
don't
the
see.
220,
I don't see them
240 carries.
having anybody to throw the ball to.
They got what's his name, right? Nope. Hawkinson.
Oh, he's going to throw to Hawkinson. We'll talk about it. But I think
We're
Hawkinson's
talking
going
about
to
that.
be.
He's gonna be a problem.
gonna be great.
I'm
Yeah.
just,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
have
saying,
a-
there's
I'm with
there's
you
an
on that.
argument for all 3 of these guys finishing as RB1. I personally
Yeah.
love Mike Davis.
I love Mike Davis.
Davis.
I loved him last year. Merrill
because
hated him.
because he does have
He's
a
serviceable.
proven veteran quarterback. He's serviceable. He's built like a
serviceable
bowling
Yeah.
ball.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
And
He can do
And he can
exactly
catch-
what
and-
I mean.
and
Todd
do
Gurley,
have-
he can do
and they-
exactly what Todd Gurley
Yes.
did last
and
year.
they
but
do
better.
have some. They do have weapons
They
at
do.
tight end
They
and
do.
wide receiver
Yeah.
to
They
take
do.
some of the pressure out of the box.
Boy,
True.
We'll talk about one of their
So I
players
think
in a
Mike
minute.
Davis, you get 1 or 2 injuries in the top 12, and Mike Davis is getting a lot of carries.
I don't disagree
He
with
could
you.
very easily finish in the
I don't
top
disagree
12.
with you.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
but before we move from running backs, I know you want to say something. Let me say something real quick about
Yeah.
this. The last person in my RB4
Yeah.
was Melvin Gordon and or whoever starts for Denver, right? So you got Javonte Williams, who probably will take over for him at some point. And this is a contract year for Melvin Gordon. So he's a free agent next
Yeah,
year.
he's old though.
Yeah, and I think that by probably week 5 or 6 is probably when Javonte is going to take over. But so I would probably draft Javonte with Mr. Irrelevant pick here in the draft, but I think he'll go before that.
Definitely take a flyer on
He'll go
Devontae, for
before
sure.
that. Yeah, he'll go before that. Probably around
Right.
the 11th round, 10th and 11th round.
Yeah,
Man,
sure.
if Mostert could stay
Oh,
healthy,
yeah.
he would be in at
See,
4.
The problem with any Niners running back is there's 11 of them.
Yeah.
And you just got to pick which one is going to have the game that you want them to have.
Because they're going to run the
Like
ball.
Jeff Wilson last
they're-
year, what did he have? 200 yards and 4
Yeah,
touchdowns?
they're-
What were you going to
He's-
say, Ryan?
He's got Belichick syndrome
Yeah, no,
over
for
there.
sure.
Is
For
that
sure. And
they're
that's
going to run the ball, but it's going to be a different dude every week,
Yep.
and it's going
Well,
to be
with Trey
frustrating
Lance,
for
shit's going to
fantasy
change,
owners.
and it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, but not this year because Trey Lance is way too raw.
Yeah,
he's going to
not
start
really.
because Shanahan is going to make it a point for
I
him
mean,
to start.
maybe, but
I don't know.
I- Ryan can talk on that.
One thing.
I am banning officially Garoppolo talk
Garoppolo
because he
talk.
is irrelevant for fantasy.
One thing I really hated the Travis Etienne pick for the
I
Jaguars.
was gonna-
Here's why.
Nobody said
Yeah.
anything about
I was
Yeah.
bullish on James Robinson as a big.
Yep.
I had him as a sleeper, and the more I
Yep.
thought about it, I was like, if you sleep on him, someone else is going to sneak
Yeah.
in and take
Yeah.
him.
Yep.
They got a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Yep.
They're going to need to lean on that running game.
Yep.
And Robinson did well last year.
Well, no, he was an RB5 last
I
year.
think they're going to have Etienne as
He's-
more like a Percy Harvin.
Well, do you hear
No,
what
but
Urban Myers
I feel like
said?
there's that relationship that the quarterback and the running back have. He's just going to be looking for him just because
Yeah.
it's out of familiarity.
Gotta have it.
They're going to be boys.
Here's one I haven't heard anybody mention, and surprising given your love for a certain old ass
No.
quarterback is I have like my last guy as a starter is Ronald Jones
No.
as an RB2.
Nope.
Trust it.
Nope.
I've got Miles
Not a
Sanders and
chance.
Chase Edmonds.
All right.
Not a chance. Yeah,
Yeah.
not a chance. Miles Sanders, I don't trust him at all because I don't trust the Eagles.
Well, they're going to be
at
losing.
all.
They're going to be down a
And
lot.
they haven't
And
done
Chase
anything.
Edmonds, who fucking knows what's happening in Arizona?
So
I
so
know.
so
I
who's
know.
the starter
For
in
what?
Tampa? Ronald Jones,
Ronald
or Leonard
Jones,
Fournette?
Giovanni
Did they-
Bernard,
Did they bring back Fournette?
all of them.
Yeah, Fournette came back.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought Fournette-
and Keyshawn Vaughn. So you got 4 starters in Tampa Bay.
They brought back I thought they brought back Keyshawn Johnson for a minute.
Yeah, they almost did. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Him and Mike Allstott almost signed a one-day
Right.
contract.
All
All right, so let's move on to
The-
wide receivers.
Yeah, the actual
So,
most important
I-
position.
I got
in
something to say.
PPR fantasy.
I got
football.
something to say about this before we
Right.
go anywhere else into
Sure.
wide receivers.
Yep.
The person that has benefited the most of everything that happened in the offseason for wide receivers is Calvin Ridley. And you get rid of Julio Jones, you are Matt Ryan's not numero uno target
Oh.
with
about that
1B
tight end?
or 2B. Like you can even put him at 3. Give Calvin Ridley 1 and 2, and give Pitts 3. Kyle
He's going to
Pitts.
get all of the coverage.
Look. This
Yeah,
just,
Yeah.
hold on a
playing
second.
on the number 2 corner for his
Yeah.
No.
career.
So against double coverage, he was the best in the NFL last year. Most air
Ridley?
yards.
Oh, he's
Oh yeah, most air yards, most catches, most yards.
I
Yeah.
think he's that guy as well. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, just take everything into account.
Right.
No,
So
I
but
agree
here's the
with
thing. Here's the thing, Ryan. You can't cover him. He's always open. Right. It's like Devontae Adams. He's always open. Like it's just one of those things. And
Yeah, but
he's
he
going to
he
get.
does, he does not have Aaron Rodgers.
No, but Matt Ryan's
does
going to throw
not.
for 5,000 yards. I don't care if Matt Ryan's a good fantasy quarterback
What
or not. He
makes you
throws for
wanna
a
take
shit ton
that
of
to the
fucking
bank?
yards. What, Matt Ryan? He always
he's-
does. He always throws for 5,000 yards. 445.
Yeah, he's
5,000
he's a
yards.
pretty
He's
good.
a yard fucking
He's a
machine,
pretty
bro.
solid. His floor
Yeah.
is high enough to where
Yeah,
you
his
mess with
floor
him.
is probably 4,000 yards.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for sure, especially with a weapon like Pitts. And now he's going to be throwing more to
But
Mike Davis
losing
because that's what
Julio,
Davis does.
You're not.
But if Pitts is
Not
if Pitts
concerned.
is who he says he is.
You know that for the last 8 weeks of the season, Russell Gage was the number 12 wide receiver in the NFL, stats wise.
Come again? Who?
Yeah, exactly. So
they sling it.
Exactly.
So and they're losing a lot. So
Yeah.
if you're losing,
yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But he gained the most on this wide receiver. I had him at 7 or so beforehand, and I think that's a pretty good spot
Yeah.
for him. I got him at 4 now,
Really?
behind the obvious.
Who do you have him in
Adams,
front of?
Diggs, and the joystick himself, Mr. Tyreek Hill.
So you got him ahead of Justin Jefferson.
I got him ahead of Justin Jefferson, but by 1.
who Ridley?
Yeah. I got
Okay.
I got
Yeah,
Jefferson as my
I could
number
go
5.
with that. I could go
And
with
I
that.
got D Hop as 6, so I got D Hop even behind all them.
That's essentially my top 6 as well, except flip flop Jefferson Ridley.
Sure.
And
I love
that's
Justin
top tier.
Jefferson. Love Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, how can you not?
Yeah.
1,400 yards as rookie
Fuck it.
and second season. The only issue that I have is you are never going to get me to trust this quarterback.
Oh yeah, no, you can't trust Kirk.
Right.
And we'll talk about that later too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Justin Jefferson is definitely in tier 1 for me.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's close. What about you guys? You guys,
Not tier 1.
let's hear it, Commish.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right on the fringe, but that's too many.
Who you got?
Yeah, it's Hill, Diggs, Adams, D-Hop, Ridley, and then draw a line, and then I got Metcalf.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's close.
Yeah.
But, and Jefferson right there with him.
What about you, Ryan?
I've got D-Hop, Diggs, Devontae Adams,
That order.
Tyreek, DK,
Yeah.
Amari. I got some
Ooh.
other people.
Amari.
In your top tier? There's one tier? Amari Cooper?
He's
Wow.
at the end, but I would take him. I think,
Okay.
All right. Well,
I
Interesting.
think he's going to benefit from getting Dak back.
oh,
I
for
really
sure.
think,
He's gonna.
I think,
What's
I
he
think
get? Brian
that
DiNucci and
your wide receivers in Dallas are going to put up numbers.
Oh, CD Lamb.
And
I would take
they're gonna put
CD
up
Lamb
numbers.
before I took
I
Amari
think
Cooper.
so.
though.
I could be
Yeah.
a successful third wide receiver on that team. They just get too much talent.
Wow.
you would
Don't
be
look
a
at me like that.
blocking.
I'd be a
wide
block. I'd be
receiver.
a blocking coach.
You be an ink spot.
I'd be a blocking water bottle.
Bobby Boucher over here.
Talk about
He
me like
won't.
that.
Believe me, he won't. He won't. Yeah. Okay. So so tier 1's pretty easy,
Yeah,
right, guys?
I
We're
think.
pretty much all in consideration here. Yeah,
Except for
we're-
this
yeah.
guy.
Right.
So
So,
I'm challenged with that
so
one.
my tier 2 starts off with DK for sure.
100%.
Then you got Allen Robinson, who we haven't talked about yet, but everybody's
Mr.
concerned about his
Consistent.
quarterback, so
Yep.
we'll talk about that. Then Ryan's favorite Cowboy, Amari Cooper, is on my list.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin, who we haven't
Yeah.
really talked about
Yeah.
a
Yep.
lot.
Yep.
He's going to get all of the target. There is no secret that
Yep.
Fitzmagic loves to throw to his number 1 receiver,
Yep.
whoever he's comfortable with. And then you round it out with A.J. Brown, who gets a little bit less targets now, but it's going to help him out, I think, in the double coverage aspect. So
Oh,
I
he's
think
a
he'll
beast.
still be fine.
He's definitely tier
And
2
Mike
for me.
Evans, who has to be better. We talked about this earlier. Has to be better than last year. The funniest stat line I've ever seen in my life: 1 catch, 1 yard, 1 touchdown.
You don't have
It was the most insane
Did you
thing I've ever seen.
did you say Cooper or Lamb up there for Dallas?
I put Cooper up there because he is the number 1.
I mean, I got
I'd probably
Lamb.
draft CD though.
You don't have Quintorris in your tier 2?
Who?
Quintorris Lopez Jones?
No, he's in my.
Tier 3. Wow.
Yeah, just because he's playing on the other side of AJ Brown.
Wow. I feel like AJ Brown's playing on the other side of.
I don't think so, bro. Not with Ryan Tannehill. If AJ Brown would have been traded to the Falcons,
Right.
I would say absolutely.
I'm not sure. I'm on the other side of your argument on Allen Robinson because I don't think the Red Rifle has much in the tank anymore.
Right.
So I think his performance is actually going to go down a bit. I have
think so.
him in my 3rd tier.
Wow.
And I've got Lamb and Cooper in the 2nd tier. But then I also have McLaurin and Metcalf, A.J. Brown. But I have Keenan Allen here.
Sure, no, I get that.
Oh, yeah.
I can
Yeah,
understand.
I
that.
think he's going to catch a ton of balls.
Sure. Oh,
Period.
yeah,
Right.
of course he will. He always
And
does.
he always does.
Always does.
He's definitely an RB or a wide receiver one. Period.
Always. Agree with
He's
you
your
there.
top. He's one of your top starters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Justin Herbert's a nasty. And if
Exactly.
Mike Williams can stay healthy, I think that benefits Keenan Allen.
Exactly.
Mike Williams.
So, and I don't think I've got Mike Evans, but I've got him as a wide receiver too. So
Well,
he's
it's
in my
because you
3rd
also
tier.
don't believe in Brady, so that's fine.
Well, I also don't think that. I also don't think Brady consolidates all his targets to one guy.
He does- no, he definitely
and he
doesn't.
That is
has
true.
a lot of weapons
He
there.
just got Gio again too, as well.
Exactly. So I really don't think that Brady. I don't think that Mike Evans is going to be a number 1.
He is their
RB.
number 1.
He's their number 1, but he won't be
one.
one. Right.
Yeah.
Right, but that's just too many.
I think he's still going to
targets.
catch 10 touchdowns.
He facilitates the
Yeah.
ball too much.
Still going to have 10
They'll
touchdowns.
lob up
still
10
gonna-
at
but
least
he's
to him,
6'8"
yeah.
or whatever the fuck he is.
Yeah.
So tier 3 is where it gets interesting. Again, I have your boy CD Lamb that you were just referencing.
CD
Have him,
Lamb.
and this is where these like when I was writing this out, this was a surprise to me that I was writing Michael Thomas in as a tier 3 wide receiver with because we just don't know what's happening in.
They're saying he's not
Right.
coming back till November, December at the
Right,
earliest.
but
Okay.
we don't know what's happening with the
Well,
quarterback.
if that's
situation.
the case, then yeah.
Well, no, you don't. You cannot draft a
No, you
guy who's
can't
going to
draft
miss
him.
most of your season,
No, you
if
can't
not
draft
all
him.
of your season.
No, you
It's
can't draft him. But actually, you can draft him with your last pick.
Why would you do that?
Why would you not? Are you
Because
gonna, are you
nobody
gonna, I never
going
play
to.
my last pick. That's my homer.
he was there at the
I'd
very
rather
last
flyer,
round.
I'd rather take a
As
flyer.
Merrill rolls his eyes.
I'd rather
Yeah.
take a flyer on a guy who, if somebody gets hurt ahead of him, is going to have an opportunity to produce
Sure.
for the entire season
Sure.
versus
Then
a
wait.
guy that's going to be sitting there and may or may not play in the season.
I don't disagree.
In which case, what I would say is just let him sit there on the waiver wire. And if he's going to come back, then you can determine whether or not you want to waste a draft pick
Yep.
or waste a waiver claim on him based upon how the team's doing, how the quarterback's doing. Because if
I just
that-
don't
if-
trust people in our league not to do it week 2 just because. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I
that.
probably would
Yeah.
draft
Well,
him in a lot of
let's-
leagues and
let's
not
say-
draft a kicker
what
and just kick it later.
What I would say is let them do that.
Fuck
right?
that.
Let them waste a roster spot on a guy you're not even sure is going to come back and play because
Sure.
if New Orleans is sucking,
Right.
which is possible
I
in,
don't think
in
so. I
real
just don't
football,
see it.
Then
if
why
they,
bring him
if
back?
they are not in
I don't see
the
it.
playoff hunt,
I just
they
don't
may
see it,
just
though.
let him not
I
play.
don't see
And the
them
other
not
thing
being-
is he's been
Yeah, I don't-
a
I'm
prima
not sure they're
donna,
gonna be
and
good.
he may, even if he's healthy enough to come back, he may not want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's pissed at the organization.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there's just too many red flags there for me to take a flyer on him when I could take a flyer on somebody else who may actually be productive.
Well, but Jameis Winston, crab legs, throws the ball a ton, bro. So if he does come back, he's obviously the number 1. Obviously.
Well, obviously, if he actually gets on the
he
Right,
gets
that's
on
what
the
I'm saying.
field.
So why not take a 17th round draft pick or whatever the hell it is to just have him on your bench? Just because
No,
you're
I
wasting
just
a
don't.
roster
You probably
spot?
won't be able to keep him. If you grab him, you're probably going to hold on to him because
For
you'll
a
feel
kicker.
terrible if you take a flyer on him, then drop him, and then somebody else picks him
Yeah.
up
I
and he
mean,
does
I'd
well.
rather
So you
take-
probably just not draft him at all.
Well, I mean, I have Godwin, Julio, Galladay, and Bobby Trees in my tier 3. So I would take any of those 3 before I drafted Michael Thomas, of course. But
yeah.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't even have Michael Thomas as a draftable.
right, no, I
receiver.
understand. This is
Yeah.
assuming everybody's healthy.
I wasn't
would
sure
even
right,
put
so
him
yeah.
third.
So I had him in my tier 3, but I would probably move
Michael
him
Thomas?
out of not being drafted. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Well,
If he's not going to play until
assuming
November.
everybody's healthy and
Right.
accounted for. Ryan, do you have anything
not.
crazy in your
Yeah.
tier 3? We've already.
Do you guys not think that DJ Moore is going to be
I got him in
good?
my-
I
yeah.
have him in my tier 4.
Yeah. Or I feel like he'd be a little
I have him
higher
in
than
my
that.
I got Cooper Cup up there.
Well, it's
too.
because everybody
Who's
thinks that
talking
he's
about
going
him,
to
Robert
get.
Woods.
He's going to get a lot of targets because what's his face left.
No, but see, here's the thing, though. Those targets are going to go to CMC as long as he's healthy.
Yeah.
Because he had 97 targets. They're
But
gonna
I
go to
think if the
CMC.
Panthers learned anything, is like, do not run this little guy
To fucking death.
as much as you
Yeah.
do. Calm that down. He's not built for it.
No, he's not.
And I know the fans like him and all that stuff, but it's chill out. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. No, I get it.
I got the LA guys there in the third tier.
Bobby Trees and Cooper Kupp.
Trees and Cup.
Yep.
I got Cup as in my fourth. In my fourth tier.
Okay.
With
If you
no, I got
like-
Thielen in my 4th.
Okay.
Bobby Trees.
Who Bobby Trees is?
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods.
I'll
sorry.
never call him Robert Woods.
No,
Bobby Trees.
Bobby Trees is his name
Yeah.
and forever will be his name.
All right.
I wonder
My
if he knows this.
my surprise. Oh, I'm sure his friends call him that all the time. My surprise on the tier 4 is Jamar Chase. And so I
Oh.
have him in my tier 4 list.
he's a
bottom of
sleeper.
My tier 4 list.
I have him down there too.
He's a
So-
I also
sleeper.
have T. Higgins down there
Yeah,
too.
no,
Yeah.
look,
Potential. Look, if Joe Burrow's going off, he's still into
But
those
see,
two
and
dudes.
the
I just don't know
problem,
which
though-
one yet.
So the problem is T. Higgins is now the number 3 on that team, behind Tyler Boyd and Jamar
Are
Chase.
you sure?
Oh,
Are you
Tyler,
sure?
Tyler, was
Tyler
the number one
Boyd,
last year.
yeah, Tyler
He was
Boyd
number
is
one
a
last year, and
possession guy.
and he'll
He's
be the
going
number
to
one this
get
year.
80, 90
Yeah.
catches.
Now,
Yeah.
now Higgins
Just
because
because he's sure-handed, he knows,
for sure.
you know,
And
gets
he's
he gets
faster.
first downs. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's faster. T. Higgins is more the third down, you need 7 yards, you're throwing it to him kind of guy.
But they're going to air it out, so.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm a fan of T. Higgins. I had him last year.
I got Lockett down here.
Yeah, I have
the
him in
fourth
my
tier.
tier
four.
And the reason is, again, he's a guy that's going to win you 7 weeks
Yeah.
of fantasy football, and he's not going to show up the rest
Yeah.
of the weeks. You just figure out which ones there are, but it's worth the risk at the bottom of
Agreed.
your RB
He's
or
a good
your
flex
wide
play.
receiver too.
He's a great
flex play.
Great
Now, in a
flex.
PPR league too, even though it
Yeah,
won't be a
he's
bunch
touchdown.
of yards,
8
I
touchdowns.
like Jarvis Landry.
Sure.
I got
Just
Jarvis.
because I think he's going to get close to 100 catches. Just
Well,
'cause they
I
throw-
got Depends if Odell plays.
I got DJ down here, DJ Shark too.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
good potential.
I don't
there.
trust Trevor
Chase
Lawrence
Shark
until I
too?
see it.
Chase
I don't think he's that
Claypool.
good. That might be another
Hey,
conversation.
so speaking of Chase Claypool, so I know that we're supposed to be the fantasy gurus here and
Hey, Claypool's a
all-knowing,
beast.
but let me ask 2 questions.
Okay.
2 guys that I got questions about this year. Chase Claypool
Okay.
is one. The other one, Allen Robinson. They've
Okay.
got the Red Rifle, Red Rocket, whatever he thinks his name is.
I would much rather have Andy Dalton throwing to my wide receiver than Mitch Trubisky or Nick Foles. Honestly, I don't really care if Nick Foles has
here's the
a
other thing
Super Bowl or not.
Here's the funny thing about the Chicago Bears, right? like as bad as Andy Dalton is,
Yeah.
I could probably make the argument that he belongs in their Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks.
As of right now.
Like, when have they ever had
Behind
a good
McMahon
quarterback?
and-
Rex Grossperson? Thank you. Yeah. So, but my question
They
is
haven't.
this:
They haven't.
if
Cutler was
if-
okay.
Yeah, okay.
Great.
Smoking
Cutler-
aside.
Yeah.
I love Jay
much,
Cutler.
much to my point, Cutler
that
was
dude's
okay.
attitude.
He's a dick. I love it. I love it. I love
But
it.
so no, but listen. So do we even know who the quarterback's going to be for the full 17
No,
games
it's
this year? with
Justin Fields is going to be the
Yeah,
quarterback
Fields,
at some point.
If
So do
Fields
you
makes it
dare-
onto the field, I think Allen
Here-
Robinson has a much higher
well,
upside.
here's the thing.
I think Allen Robinson is basically like a little bit better Jarvis Landry.
Absolutely.
So
but
he's going to get a
But
bunch.
can you count on it?
So
this year?
here, he's going to get 150
catches.
targets.
He's gonna
I've
get a lot of
got,
targets.
150
I've got him as a wide
Yeah.
receiver
For like
too.
6 yards a catch.
Yeah,
That's
me
where
too.
I got him too.
I have a wide receiver too, but yeah, dude, he
But
had
he's- I'm thinking he's a
1,400 yards.
Yeah,
Dude's-
you look
dude's
at
a
his
problem.
stats last year. It was surprisingly.
I think it was like 1,208
solid,
or
yeah.
something like that. Like he's a problem, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a problem.
That
Oh, I
was
know.
with fucking Mitch Trubisky throwing to him.
Point well taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was my point with Dom. It's man, I'd
It would
much
suck. That's wide out though.
You okay
Yeah,
with that?
I get that.
If
He
he was
would be
like
my
your
number
lead
one.
wide receiver, I'd
No,
No.
this is pro football.
Oh, you're okay.
I'm okay.
all right.
Like, I don't. Mitch
All right.
Trubisky would not be my quarterback of choice.
I'm gonna play the same
can
game
run.
we did last time.
Okay. Ooh, I like
With-
it.
Okay.
like, I'm
Who
gonna
could
name
sneak into
3
that tier one?
guys who are
I
not.
heard the Saw thing. Are you ready to play a game?
Are you
ready?
I've never seen those
3
movies.
guys.
Showgirls.
3 guys.
3 guys. All right.
Who do you think not finish as a wide receiver 1, but at least as a starting wide receiver as one of the top 24?
Okay.
Because these get interesting.
All right.
Debo,
Okay.
Okay.
Odell,
Are we assuming everybody stays healthy? Will Fuller.
No.
Will Fuller. Yeah.
Same thing.
Will
Quarterback.
Fuller. Will
Tua.
Fuller.
Quarterback.
Yeah. Will Fuller.
Debo.
With who throwing to him? You can't talk. You can't say
Not
that.
Tua.
You can't. No. But you can't say the. You can't say the JG name here on this show.
Yeah.
Anymore.
We
who's
banned
gonna,
it.
Who's gonna be throwing to him? What's that place you like to eat with all the shit on the walls, Ryan? Shenanigans? Is that the place?
So I would like to change my answer.
Anybody got a Glock so I can pistol whip this?
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
I like Odell in that question. I
You like
feel,
Odell?
Yeah.
I like Will Fuller because he was like top 5 wide receiver before he went out with cheating disease last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
never
I
stays
question his. But I
No, he stayed
so-
healthy last year because he was on the juice.
Oh,
Yeah, he was healthy.
Congratulations.
He
He was
just,
on the juice.
He's just on that juice.
Hey,
So-
that's great.
But
all
he's fast.
All
He's a straight
three of these,
monster.
all 3 of these guys, I question their quarterback situation.
Well, Debo's not even the number 1 over there.
I get
Well, he
it,
don't like the quarterback,
but he's
even if
probably
you
the
are.
most talented.
Nah,
He should be the number
Ayuk's
one.
probably the most
I
talented.
think Ayuk's better.
And he's the
Maybe.
number 1 wide receiver
Okay.
over there. Well, he's the number 2. But everybody's number 2 behind
Okay.
George Kittle. But
True.
Yeah.
All of these guys have quarterback problems,
Yep.
right?
Right.
Right.
Or they run so much.
yes.
Like in Cleveland's case. Like
Yes.
Baker's
But
okay.
that's
There's
not
run
my-
bunch.
regardless.
that's not Miami's situation.
But Baker still throws for 4,000 yards. It's nasty. It's ridiculous.
But
3,800 to 4,000 yards.
Here's the thing: is they run it so damn much,
They really
and
do.
they have other targets there,
Yeah.
and
he throws Landry a
you
lot.
also
does.
you also have an Odell problem with that.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that guy
He doesn't.
You know,
The offense isn't built for Odell. It's built for Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
right, exactly,
So-
and he's pissy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
It's
that.
understandable.
Maybe
I,
they
I
maybe
think
they
the
cut him
Giants
and
didn't
he
do him
ends
any
up-
favors by featuring him so much, and they were losing, and he was getting all of these stats and
I'd be
attention,
surprised if
and
he
that just
finishes
didn't serve
the
him
year
well.
with the Browns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they
Yeah.
cut him in the
Doubt
preseason,
it.
and he ends up
Not a
somewhere
chance.
where.
They trade
He'd be
him.
great.
He
He'd
moves
be
in
great in New
August, I
England.
bet.
Why wouldn't they cut him?
He'd be great New England.
He'd be
You're
great
right.
New England.
Ryan would
He'd be great
love
New England.
that.
I would love that.
He'd
Yeah.
be great.
I mean, God forbid we would have someone of any real talent to catch passes.
Well,
Yeah.
and Bill
Yeah,
likes
now
to
you
fix
just don't have
people.
anybody to throw.
Bill does like
No,
to fix people.
none of anyone to
Yeah.
fix.
He likes to fix people.
He would be perfect.
And
He
he
would be
doesn't have
perfect.
anybody to fix right now.
He would be perfect in New
I guess
England.
you could try to fix Cam Newton.
All right.
Yeah.
if you're
Cam
saying-
Newton's
Yeah,
done.
that's been a great
So-
project.
Fix
Cam
it.
Newton's done.
All right, so let's cap this off with tight ends. And Dom and I got together yesterday, and we decided to not do a tiered tight ends, just do a draftable starters kind of
Yeah.
conversation.
Yep. Okay.
And really, it all starts with Travis Kelce. There is nobody else. This is, as you were saying
Kels.
earlier,
Actually,
the only
him and his
tier.
brother announced that the official pronunciation of that name is Kels.
Okay, so that's stupid.
Okay,
Okay.
So we're going to call him
continue.
Travis Kelce.
I'll never call him that.
We're going to
Alright.
call him Kelce.
All right, I don't even want to have this conversation.
'Cause it
Kelsey,
sucks.
Kittle, and Waller.
Right. Well,
Period. Those are your 3 guys.
Those are my 3. Yeah, in that order.
And
I'd
I'm
be
not
okay
saying
with Pitts
I'm not
if I
saying
ended up
that
with
him. Yeah,
Kelsey.
same.
I'm not
I'd
saying
be
that
okay.
Kelsey isn't better than those guys.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that those are the only ones that you're drafting as reliable
Sure.
Yep.
tight ends.
I don't disagree.
Everyone else
Period.
after that is a little bit of a crapshoot for me.
I would
yeah,
add.
I feel like Travis is in his own tier.
no, yeah,
Like
5
I
to 10
said,
points.
I
a
don't
game
think
out
there
of
are
that
enough
position.
tight ends to have tiers.
No, there's
No.
not.
It's just Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller are
Yeah.
the only guys that you're
Yep.
happy to draft.
Well, Hawkinson, you're happy to draft.
I'm happy
Are-
with Hawkinson.
I'm
Are
happy
you-
with
are
Hawkinson.
I'd be happy with Hawkinson.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
100% happy
Why?
with Hawkinson.
Goff is going to find who's got like who's the white guy I can throw to on this team.
The only
and that's
other one.
so many. I'm telling you.
I'm telling
that's
you,
exactly what's going to
Hold on,
happen.
white guy.
You look like Cooper.
Here's
I'm telling you. You look like Cooper. I'm going to throw it to you.
Hey, Harold, we don't all look the same.
I got-
I don't know if anybody
95
told you.
catches for this
I'll-
Hawkinson kid.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
telling
dude,
you.
he's going to have over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, we have just discovered Bill Belichick's new reclamation project.
Yes, Jared Goff.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the
somebody.
perfect quarterback for him.
So a couple of people you have to add to, or one person in particular.
I don't
you
have to
to
add anybody.
If
Who
you
else
draft-
can you draft?
If you
Yeah.
draft Mark Andrews, you are not disappointed
I like
I like Andrews too.
for the most part.
I think yeah, but you're not drafting him in the top 4 rounds.
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
waiting
7,
on
8.
him.
You're
He's a
waiting-
guy. He's a guy you take if you don't get Kelsey, Kittle, or Waller.
Here's how
When
it
the
works.
tight end run goes
That's what
after
I'm
those
saying.
top
That's exactly
3
what I
or
was about to
4,
say.
somebody's going to start it. Oh,
'Cause
damn, I need
Kelsey-
one now.
Because draft in the first round, nobody's gonna be surprised about that. But
Oh,
when
Kelsey's-
when Waller goes, then Kittle's gonna go. When Kittle goes, then Hawkinson will go, or Pitts will go. And people are like, shit.
yeah.
So
I need a tight end. Yeah, so Gronk
in
is
the
on that
Waiver wire.
Stop.
He's on that 400
Let's
yards, 6 touchdowns.
No, no, no,
35
You
no.
pick him
yards.
up after week 1 when
Yeah,
he
for
scores
sure.
touchdowns.
So I know that I use this same logic to rip on your receivers, like
Sure.
Will Fuller.
Doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
Tight ends.
Gesicki.
Gesicki.
He was
I
great
like
last year. He had 700 yards
he's
last year.
consistent.
Yeah.
He's steady.
Sure.
I don't think he's going to win you any
Sure.
games, but
I
you
don't-
know what you're getting with him for the most part on a week-to-week basis,
All right,
and that's
so-
what I need from my tight end.
Then,
Right.
then you have to add. Then you have to have a couple of different conversations. As if you don't get, so this is for everybody that does not get
top
Kelsey
3.
or Waller or Hawkinson or Kittle, right? So serviceable tight end replacements, right?
Yep.
Would be Noah Fant,
No offense.
right?
Solid.
Depending
I like
on
him.
quarterback,
I
yeah,
like
for
him
sure.
as a nice
Love
flyer.
Dallas Goddard, right? He's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yep.
really good as long as Jalen Hurts doesn't shit the bed,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got Gesicki, who we've already talked about. Lance Thomas, who was a problem
Yes.
last year.
Yep.
We just don't know what
Lance
to
Thomas or
expect.
Logan Thomas?
Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas.
We don't know what to expect out of Fitzpatrick with the
With the tight
Washington
end.
offense and
He
shit
doesn't
like that.
really throw a huge amount
Right.
of tight ends.
Tight end for the Bills.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Exactly. He's not on the list. Yeah, that's right, Knox.
Yeah, Knox.
all right,
Knox
no,
does pretty well, doesn't
no.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Waiver wire
So
guy.
Dom and I
He's a
figured
waiver
out.
wire guy, maybe.
Dom and I were looking at what were we looking at, average value position or some shit yesterday. What were we looking at with the Excel spreadsheet?
We were looking at value-based drafting.
So value-based drafting. Do you know who was the 28th person and the 5th tight end to be taken in value-based drafting? Fucking Tyler Higbee.
yeah.
Come again?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, look,
Yeah.
28th
Matthew Stafford.
overall, and I'll explain
Matt Stafford.
value-based drafting
In a few minutes,
In
yeah.
a few minutes,
Yeah.
but
Get
as
drafted.
far as his value
Mm-hmm.
in a league that's full point PPR, 12 team
Mm-hmm.
with the positioning that we have, Tyler Higbee's literally the 28th
Yeah.
best player
Isn't
on
that
the board.
disgusting?
Overall.
Wow.
Overall.
Isn't
I
that
Higbee.
Overall.
Last season before the
yeah,
pandemic.
This year Stafford.
Yeah.
though.
He was
It's different.
good,
Yeah, it's
but-
different.
No,
You got
no, no,
Stafford,
but-
you
write
don't-
home
but-
about.
and you don't have Gerald Everett this year too.
But what you're talking about is you're talking about a position that you have to fill
Yeah.
every single week, every week, and the difference between him and the 12th best tight end
is
is
very very wide.
that makes his value that much higher on a position you have to have.
Well, not having Gerald Everett is a good
Yeah,
point that
for
you
sure.
bring up. That makes a huge difference.
And Matthew Stafford.
Because
And you
that
have
was my
Matthew
biggest
Stafford.
problem when
Right.
I had it with Stafford, of
Right.
course. Yeah,
Right.
that
And now you don't have Cam Akers, so it gives you even more targets to
Yeah.
spread around. So, but one person nobody's talked about, and nobody's going to talk about, and I'd be interested to see where he gets drafted in a hoof,
Yeah.
is Jared Cook. Because Jared Cook is now the sole tight end for the Chargers.
How old is Cook?
Or
now?
sorry, Los Angeles Chargers. It doesn't matter. He's the only tight end
kinda
to
matters.
Justin Herbert.
I have
it doesn't
him
matter.
right
Say that to
behind
Gronk.
It
Gronk.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Undraftable
All right.
guys who could be a waiver wire.
All right,
pickup.
now somebody interesting who is
And not
listed,
the Patriots have 2 good
They
ones.
have Hunter
So
Henry.
they have Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu
Yeah.
Smith.
And if
Neither
you
of
want
whom
my-
are draftable.
I'm not
You
doing with
want
Cam
my
Newton.
unsolicited information on that?
No, I didn't. That's
Okay,
why.
now
Good
tell
seeing
us
you.
what the insider Boston podcast say.
No one talks like that. So, as
Yeah,
far
it's a much more muffled with a dick in the mouth.
okay.
Give me your glass and shut the fuck up.
Wow. This guy's a fucking pecker. All right.
Nobody talks like that, right?
Yeah,
Say what the fuck you were gonna say,
Drake,
John.
Classic Patriots fantasy logic. Don't frickin' draft anyone.
No.
So for that reason, Hunter Henry, don't touch him. However, Jonnu Smith, when they get in the red zone, this is someone that they're going to use.
Are they gonna get in the red zone?
This is someone that they're going to use.
That'll be much better.
Cam, they can get in the red zone, but they couldn't do anything with it. They were less than 50% on touchdowns in the red zone last year.
It's not surprising.
They need a big body target. They don't have anyone, and they're going to lean
They need a better offensive
on Jonnu
coordinator.
Smith. I would pick up Jonnu Smith.
Okay.
If you're desperate. I'm not saying
if
you
the
The
should.
Patriots are going to be pretty
They need
solid,
a better
man.
city to be positioned.
I don't like the Patriots, but they're going to be pretty solid. They had a bunch of dudes that decided not to play because of
On
COVID
defense.
last year.
Yeah, like Mayo.
That's what I'm saying. The
Defense.
defense
Yeah, on
allows you
defense.
to score
Defense
more
will be
points.
better.
The short
Their
field.
defense will be the reason they win football games
Yep.
next
All right.
season. Their
Okay.
offense will be shit.
I'm going to say a name that is listed as a tight end.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill.
Wait a minute, they're letting him do that again
He's
this
listed
year?
as a tight end.
Wow.
Paid as a quarterback, listed as a tight end. Quarterback.
Yeah,
I think he's
I
listed
don't
as a tight
want
end
it. I don't want any part of him.
That's a
I don't want any
DraftKings
part of
thing.
Yeah,
like
so
the
what do,
maybe
you, but what do you do? Play him in your tight end spot when he's playing quarterback? Or like,
Is he listed as a tight end in season long?
I don't know.
Yeah,
But he's
that's-
on the tight end list.
in season long, if he is, I wouldn't mess with him, but I definitely would play him every week on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Not even.
Because you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I just wanted to mention I didn't know where you guys were at with that.
Silly.
All right, so are we
We're
missing
done-
anything?
No, we're done.
tight end wise?
We're done with tiers,
All right,
and we
perfect.
spent 2 hours on
Yeah,
that.
perfect.
And
Thank you so much for coming in here. Well, fellas, again, thank you very much for your
been
time.
real.
Mr. Ryan Collins and the commissioner,
sir.
Mr. Merrill Holloway,
Yup.
and Mr. Andre Cameron over there, and Dominic. I am Clint. And thank you for listening to our fantasy podcast. If you have any questions, hit us up on all the social medias at Schmo Sports. And we are on all major podcast channels. So podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer.
And while you're
Google
there,
Podcast.
make sure you
Rate.
leave us a rating
Subscribe.
and a review.
Review.
Subscribe. And if you do all of those things, you
Schmo
might find yourself
League.
in a spot. The Joes versus Schmoes fantasy
Pros
football.
versus-
The Pros versus Schmoes fantasy football league.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that would be very interesting. That will be a live draft.
Yep.
And so we're waiting on a date till we.
And we're
fill
going to
all
record the
spots.
draft. So
Oh,
if you
I
want to
can't
be
wait to
part,
hear
if
that.
you want to be
Yeah.
part of the podcast
Yes.
for the league,
draft. Yes.
yeah, you
We're
better
going to
get
do
on
it in
there.
the speakeasy. We're going to have a few drinks. And we're
Oh,
going to have
that's
some
dope.
professional athletes in here to do some fantasy football drafting. So
Okay.
it's going to be a
Dope, okay.
So again, everybody, thank you for listening, and we are the Schmos. So Dom, you know what to do next.
Cut to the theme music.
The Joe Schmo.